Which is the advantage of having a sawed-off shotgun? Folks, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist and addressing one of these common myths. The idea that when you cut the barrel of a shotgun, it magically acquires extra power. It just does a lot more damage. That simply is not true. That's just part of the collective fantasy, heavily influenced by movies like Mad Max and so on. He draws his sawed-off shotgun from his hip, boom, blows up someone's head and so on. Yeah, the thing is this, when you start cutting on the barrel of a shotgun, like in any other fire, what you actually do is reduce the amount of powder that will burn inside said barrel, thus having less velocity, less power. So let's first dispel that myth that a sawed-off shotgun is more deadly or deadlier or just more lethal in one way or the other than a longer barrel. Just not the case. Also super important, be extremely careful about what you do with a hacksaw, because in most of the civilized world, cutting a barrel to certain lengths can get you in quite a lot of trouble, legally speaking. In the case of US, if you're going under 18.5-inch barrels, then you need a tax stamp, and it's gonna be a bit more paperwork, some more money involved, and a little bit of waiting as well. That is a 14-inch barrel, that is a 24-inch barrel. So you have two examples of what I consider, in my opinion, to be as far as I'd like to go in both ends. Less than 14-inch barrel, you start getting into why are you even having a shotgun territory, and more than 24-inch barrel is kind of ridiculous. That's an English shotgun from UK, and that's the minimum legal length that you can have. As far as I know, up until now, that is still the minimum legal barrel length, 24 inches. So this is perfectly legal in UK. For all of you watching this from UK, yes, you can get yourself your shotgun license, I believe it's called as of now, and yeah, that's a perfectly legal UK legal shotgun. Now that, not so much. This will, well, not legal in UK, in US will require your short barrel shotgun paperwork and so on. But why would you even do that? What would be the advantage? Look, I'm doing the video because this is a question I get quite often, like, hey, if it's the end of the world, should I start sawing off the end of my shotgun? Well, I don't know, maybe. What's your goal with that? Why are you chopping off part of your shotgun barrel? What is that you want to do with that? Look, a lot of the legal things we just have to cope with these days are part of the popular culture and the fantasy that a lot of people have. Often people that don't know a fuck about guns. The thing about shotguns and sawing off a shotgun is strongly influenced by something that used to happen and probably still does to some extent in countries like Italy. Especially in Italy, the idea of the vendetta, the idea of the guy in the country, in the field, he has his shotgun, he wants to blow someone up, he grabs his shotgun, saws off the barrel, cuts the stock, puts it under a coat, goes to the town, and as soon as a mayor, gangster, mafia boss, or whoever the hell they want to end, they just bang that thing up and shoot him. Why is this? Well, because of concealment, just like with a handgun. Because in some parts of the world, at some period of time, handguns were not as common. What people did was just what I'm explaining. The farmer wants to avenge his dead son. You know, shit that really did happen, still happens these days. Or his daughter was abused by the son of the gangster or the mafia boss or whatever stupid shit going on. Wants to go after him. The people in that small communities, everyone knows that the guy is going after him. So they keep an eye on the guy. They cannot stop him from going to the bar in the town or going above his business, but they're watching if he comes along with a fucking shotgun and tries to blow the guy up. So cutting the barrel, hiding the gun, getting close. I think there's a name for it, lupinata. Lupinata is something about wolf. And there's even this thing that maybe was used for such thing at some point for protecting the people against wolves, cutting the shotgun. So unless you really need something that is very concealable and the only thing you have left is cutting your shotgun, that's maybe the only thing I would go for. Now, in terms of how practical, tactically speaking it is, Is it easier to move around with a shorter shotgun? Yes, it is, to some extent. It's not going to be making a massive difference if you don't have certain training. And if you do, then yeah, the longer shotgun, and your standard short barrel shotgun, the commercially available 18.5-inch, that's perfectly fine. Honestly, I've never bumped against much with that shotgun. That would have been not the case with the 14-inch shotgun. It is a little bit more comfortable. It is a little bit easier to move around, especially in corners and so on, but not a massive difference to change anything if you don't know what you're doing, right? So more maneuverable, yes. To what extent? Well, that little extent that you see there, like 4 inches or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, a little bit more. But really, and when you look at the overall length, it doesn't change a whole lot more. Just look at that difference, right? Now, in terms of what are the advantages? Well, the advantages of having a longer shotgun is that it will have a longer magazine. 4 rounds for the little ultra short that you see there, Hudson. If you're wondering the model, that's the ultra short Hudson, commercially available like so, with a little sight there and my own add-on there. But that's perfectly okay, right? It's commercially available Hudson ultra short. That's a Mossberg ATP 24-inch barrel. You have 7 rounds versus 4 rounds, almost 50% more capacity. And you have some of less length that have 8 shot capacity. If you go into the longer 9, 10, you start looking at a damn long spear of a thing. I don't see the point in that. And besides, it's a shotgun. How many shots do you really need for home defense? Probably with 4 buckshot inside a residency for self-defense, probably gonna get the job done, right? But always better to have more. Won't argue against that. Now, what is the other advantage? Well, in a shotgun like that, which specifically says in the barrel slugger, it is the case that if you're using Foster slugs or any slug of any kind, you will have quite a bit more accuracy, not because of the barrel length, but because of the sight distance. The sight distance will help you, the sight radius will help you group a lot better at longer distances. I'm not a great shot. I'm a more of a intermediate, mediocre compared to some of the guys out there that are more dedicated in the sport or the tactical shooting aspect. But even I can group nicely with this thing at 50 yards, 50 meters. That is something that at a chest, I'm not going to say that you put one on top of the other, which I have done before at 50 meters, but comfortably, chest size target, you will hit that thing all day long with a slug. Now with this shotgun, yeah, that's gonna be right. With the red dot, it does help quite a bit, but if I had sights here, it wouldn't be the same thing. Longer sight radius always help, no matter if it's a revolver, a pistol, or a long gun. Now, if you're shooting this thing with birdshot, yeah, forget about it. 50 yards, you're not doing a damn thing. A dot is even going through paper at 50 meters, especially with its shorter barrel, which gives less velocity, less energy, less penetration. Okay, so that would be one of the big advantages I see in the shotgun. If you want to look at it in terms of, well, but I'm shooting buckshot. Well, kind of like the same deal. You will have more spread at 50 meters, but I'd rather have slugs if you're shooting at those distances than going at 50 meters with buckshot. It will be lethal at 50 meters, no doubt, but you're grouping, well, you're not grouping much with a shotgun with buckshot or birdshot at 50 meters. With slugs, with that barrel length, yes, you are. Now, one more thing about the advantage of the short barrel shotgun is it's going to be spreading more. Well, these two have cylinder chokes, so they're not going to be choking much and grouping much with birdshot or buckshot. But it's not the case that just because you cut a few inches more or less, you have a significant difference. Yes, the more you cut back on the barrel, the likely because of the lack of velocity, the lack of performance as intended for that shell, you will see a little bit more spread. And when you get to ridiculously stupid barrel lengths, cutting like a double barrel shotgun super short, yeah, it's gonna go all over the place, mostly because of a lack of ballistics, a lack of energy, lack of velocity. It's gonna be spreading and being extremely inefficient, so there's really no point in even trying that. 14-inch, as far as I would go, and if you want to go Mad Max, be my guest, but the tactical advantage, mostly myth. Guys, if you want to learn more about using firearms for self-defense, especially if you haven't got tactical firearms training, you will benefit a lot from street survival skills. And for the economic aspect of preparedness, surviving an economic collapse, my book specifically about that, surviving the economic collapse, both available in the links below there in Amazon. See you in the next video. Have an awesome weekend. Take care.